Isso não é um lançamento de notebook. Esse é o seu lançamento. Os aí PCs da Lenovo com processadores Intel Core Ultra 9 aprendem com você e personalizam as necessidades do seu negócio, permitindo que os seus dados fiquem sempre protegidos. Essa é uma das várias soluções para ajudar você a ser mais você. Saiba mais em www.lenovo.com/IA para você.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.
Welcome to the Gundam Lorecast, where we take a deep dive into the Mobile Suit Gundam series, such as the multiple timelines, mobile suits, characters, and so much more. Welcome back, pilots, to another episode of the Gundam Lorecast. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon, or also known as Ben of Temeria, and always with me is my good friend, Jesse.
How's it going, everybody?
And today we are bringing you a very important mobile suit, specifically to us US audience, because this is probably the first major one we were introduced to growing up. Because this mobile suit we're diving into was part of the first Gundam series that debuted in the US. And none of that is the Wing Gundam. So, a lot of favorites for a lot of people, I know that much for sure. And, very prolific Gundam, I would say.
So cool.
So, the XXXG-01W Wing Gundam, or aka 01 or Gundam 01, is the titular mobile suit of the anime Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. It was primarily piloted by Hiro Yui. And Hiro's much like Cloud. Yeah, I'm actually rewatching Wing currently. I forgot how much he's so cold compared to any other Gundam.
Yeah, no, he is.
Like he could all I say Duo and Casfall are the only two that actually have emotions. All the other ones, like the other three of the boy band, are like, meh, kill me.
Yeah. It's like
literally.
Troa has no idea what's going on, it feels like. And why am I blanking on his name? I know he pilots Shenlong.
Wong? God, you're gonna make me
Wu Fei.
Wu Fei. Gotcha. Thank you. I know it started with the W. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what it was. He's just like, we're going to fight. It's happening.
Yeah. Currently, where I'm at in the show, he doesn't want to fight whatsoever. He's all depressed.
He does have that time.
He's also depressed. So, moving with the technology and combat characteristics, out of the 5 original Gundams created for Operation Meteor, Wing Gundam is the most well-balanced in terms of abilities and bears the closest resemblance to the common ancestor, the XXXG-00W0 Wing Gundam 0. Like Wing Zero, the Wing Gundam can transform into an alternate flight form known as Bird Mode, and has a powerful Buster Rifle part of its armament. However, the Zero system interface, which has technical problems and other parts considered to be excessive, were not included, and the skills of the pilot are needed to make up for this shortfall. Its cockpit is spherical capsule surrounded by a linear frame, and it swivels to the same direction as the mobile suit's head, unlike the standard Oz cockpit, where it's a floating cockpit with a shock mitigation function. The major contributor to the wing's mobility is the pair of the wing units on its backpack. These units are not only generate lift, but also can change the aerodynamic characteristics of the mobile suit through the movements of the individual panels, supporting a range of speeds from stall to hypersonic. Even in outer space, these wing units exhibit the high altitude control capability using both AMBAC and built-in Werner thrusters. By transforming into bird mode, wings, mobility, and movement range are increased further, allowing it to conduct operations that the other Gundams could not. The leg thrusters on the back of the knees serve as the main Werners in bird mode and are also used for dashing on the ground in mobile suit mode. Yeah, this is another transformable type that we get, out of all the Gundam series, the first transformable type we see is, it wasn't the Zeta, but it was in Mobile Suit Gundam Zeta.
Mm-hmm.
They had mobile suits that could transform Mobile Suit Gundam Zeta, and then some of the other UC, but this was the first transformable type because this was the first series that wasn't in the UC. So,
yeah.
Which is nice.
The beginning of new timelines and more confusion.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. So we have the armaments. So we have the Buster Rifle. So this is a beam cannon developed based on the Wing Zero's twin Buster Rifle. While the Wing Zero's twin Buster Rifle is powered directly by the mobile suit, Wing Gundam's Buster Rifle is powered by 3 special cartridges filled with energy that has been degenerated to the verge of materialization and thus can only be fired 3 times. However, the use of the cartridges enable the weapon to be used by other mobile suits as well. The Buster Rifle is as powerful as a battleship's main gun and can destroy multiple targets, such as mobile suits, with a single shot. Although the Buster Rifle's power is less than half of that of the twin Buster Rifle, the energy it emits at maximum output is equivalent to that of a daily consumption of a medium-sized city. Furthermore, the emitted beam is powerful enough to ionize the surrounding atmosphere, creating a violent plasma vortex with a radius of 150 meters centered on the beam's optical axis in a scorching torrent of several tens of kilometers. However, by adjusting the output, an affected area can be altered. The beam itself can be a composite structure consisting of high-speed, highly penetrative beam in the center surrounded by a low-speed but highly destructive particle beam. This destructive power of the Buster Rifle combined with the Wing Gundam's flight ability meant it to be possible for the mobile suit to serve as a strategic weapon. Yeah, and we see this in the first episode of Gundam Wing where Hero shoots down 3 Leos, or is it 2 or 3? It's like 2 or 3 Leos at once with one single shot.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous on how powerful this thing is. It's every time he uses it, he takes down at least a minimum of 3 enemies.
There's a reason the show is named after this suit.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So it does have a Vulcan gun. So a pair of shell firing armament built in the head. When fired in unison with the machine cannons, they can be out of bullets in less than a minute, mainly for close quarter combat to restrain enemy movements or enemy units. We have the machine cannon located in the shoulders. The 2 cannons are short to medium range weapons. They are capable of firing rapid fire thanks to the internal drum structure.
I like how in this they're just like, let's stuff machine guns wherever we can into this suit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as comparable to Heavy Arms. Heavy Arms' entirety is a gun.
Yeah.
The mobile suit itself is a gun. You have the
arms, there's guns. There's rockets on the legs.
That thing's a tank in itself. It's a one-man army. Well, all these mobile suits are one-man armies, like in themselves.
We do love Heavy Arms too. We'll get to it, but we love it too.
Yeah, Heavy Arms is great. So its shield, made of high-strength Gundanium alloy, can be used in a ramming weapon. The shield can be mounted on the left forearm and be held in the left hand. It can be mounted on the back when not in use. In bird mode is docked with the Buster Rifle and mounted on the backpack. A sensor is located at the tip of the shield. And like the shield becomes like the head of the bird, kind of when it's in bird mode.
Yeah.
Now we have its beam saber. So the beam saber is standard close combat weapon for many mobile suits. It generates a beam-shaped beam blade-shaped, sorry, that didn't make any sense, blade-shaped beam to melt and cut through enemy armor due to use of the highly durable Gundanium alloy. Wing Gundam's beam saber has a high output that is not attenuated even in water. A pair of beam sabers are stored in the wing shield. When the beam saber is needed, the lower half of the shield folds to expose the grip of one saber. The beam saber is typically wielded in Wing's right hand, which forces the Gundam to discard the Buster Rifle temporarily. Yep.
Which, if you already took the 3 shots, you don't really need to carry it.
No, not at all. Not at all. So yeah, that's fun stuff. I mean, surprisingly enough, this is probably like the first mobile suit that does not have a lot of armaments on it whatsoever.
We have not had one since probably like when we talked about the RX-78 or the Zaku. We haven't had one where there's like just not that much to it weapon wise.
Yeah. Like this has like what is there? 1, 2, 3, 4 weapons and then a shield.
Yeah.
That's it. But I mean, with the Buster Rifle alone, that becomes like 10 weapons because because of its destructive power.
It uses everything to like devastating effect, so it doesn't really matter that it doesn't have that much.
Right. So moving on to the special equipment and features, we have its bird mode. So when transforming into bird mode, the Gundam's head and waist rotate backwards and the legs fold up and the feet pointing backwards. The shoulder armor fold down and the hands retract inside the forearms, and then talons fold over the forearms. Finally, the shield and the Buster Rifle dock together when they attach into the Gundam's backpack to form the nose, and the Gundam wings spread open. In this form, Wing is capable of high-speed flight and long-range travel, though it requires extra boosters in order to launch into space. Which makes sense, because standard boosters are not going to get you to space.
Yeah.
Not with the freaking atmosphere and everything.
Yeah, you're not getting through.
No, God no. We have its search eye, focused on data gathering when the antennas and main cameras do not suffice. The Gundam's secondary eye comprises a large jewel on its chest to gather in visual and radio wave data. That's cool. Not gonna lie. That's kind of cool. And then Jesse found out about this in GB4 self-destruct system.
So GB4, it's very, very disappointing. Doesn't do very much damage, and you're just standing there.
Yeah. So Wing Gundam was built to self-destruct should the pilot choose to. A remote detonator is placed within the cockpit as a dire situation arises. The pilot can destroy the Gundam. The system was designed to overload the power systems and enough explosive power to destroy several city blocks. It's a last option tactic if the pilot is incapable of protecting the Gundam. While not allowing it to fall into enemy hands, it can also be used as one large explosive device to eradicate large targets. Yeah, I see. I just watched a couple episodes ago watching Wing, and you see the Tall Geese versus Wing, and
Such a good fight.
it becomes a stalemate because, spoiler alert, Oz targets the freaking colonies with rockets and everything, and then eventually, through story means, Hero gets out of his cockpit and is like, for the mission, click, and then explodes. And this is like an episode like 14. This is like early in the
like
freaking
very
season.
Early on.
And then it's like, oh, he just offed himself. That was quick. And then, spoiler, he doesn't die because he doesn't. He's the main character. He can't die just yet. And then we do have a variant. So this is not Wing Zero or Endless Waltz version or any of that, because those are not variants. Those are separate mobile suits entirely. So just saying for everybody, if you're like, well, what about Wing Zero? What about Endless Waltz and all that? And I was like, they're separate mobile suits entirely, completely. Or Proto Wing is same thing. They're all different mobile suits because they have different unique builds. So the variant we have is the Wing Gundam Riccardo Fellini Custom. This is a customized Wing Gundam Gunpla built and operated by Riccardo Fellini. It features a green color scheme and retains all the Wing Gundam standard armaments. Though many victories and defeats, Riccardo would continue to modify his Wing Gundam, eventually resulting in the Wing Gundam Fenice. This is from Gundam Build Fighters, for anybody who doesn't know that.
Also, Fenice is just so cool.
Fenice is awesome. Like I really like the design of Fenice.
It has a motorcycle. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's what do they call it? The Meteor Hopper is what it's called.
It's a motorcycle, and it's the Italian flag colors. Like, it's just cool.
Yeah, it's the Italian colors because he's the Riccardo Fellini is the Italian. What do they call him?
Something
the Italian dandy.
I don't remember what his name.
I think that's what he was called.
Something like that.
Italian dandy. Yep. The Riccardo is also known as the Italian dandy, Italian fighter of the Italian Gundam Battle World Championship International Tournament.
Also, it has different color eyes, which is also just really cool.
Yes.
Cool
the
detail.
Right eye is red and the left is green.
Yeah, I think that's what I know. They're red and green. I don't know which one's which.
Yeah, it's one of the two. Oh, here it is. The right eye is red, left is green.
It just looks cool. Heterochromia is cool. I don't know why.
It's so Build Fighters is a really fun anime to watch. I will say though, the dub is not the best. And there is a dub. It's not the best because it was Singaporean dubbed, so the actors weren't the best choices. Not trying to shoot. Not trying to like diss or anything.
Subtitles, it's passable. You can do subtitles. You probably should.
Yeah, I watch it dubbed just so I don't have to deal with subtitles personally, but that's just me. Yeah, and by the way, his the Wing Gundam Fenice does have the self-destruct system.
It does. It's so ridiculous.
Because you see, he almost used it. Oh, it was so funny. It's so great.
I did start it in dub, and then I switched to sub, which is rare for me.
Because the voice acting in Fighters and Fighters Try specifically were not the best.
Hard to deal with.
It was the dubbing was not the best. Now Divers and Divers Re-Rise, that was all done by Funimation, so and you actually have reputable like voice actors doing that stuff. So those sound great. It's just Fighters and Fighters Try don't have the best. It's somewhat passable sometimes. So, like sometimes the lines are just like really really cringy.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, do you guys not know how to do this at all? No? Okay. But anyway, let's take a quick mid-break, thank our listeners, and we'll be right back.
It's a Gundam!
All right, welcome to the mid-break of the show. We're talking about everything with the podcast. It has nothing to do with the lore of Gundam. Here, we want to thank all our amazing listeners. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. And if you want to support the show, there's a few options you can do. You can go to patreon.com/Gundam Lorecast, where you can get ad-free episodes, or even join us once a month on the show itself, a topic of your choosing. You can also support us on Apple or Spotify. Leave a 5-star review on Apple or some kind words on Spotify. We'll read out that next time on the show, which we don't have any this week, but, it's okay. And then you can also find us on a few different Discord servers, the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, as well as my own Discord server, the Ben and Friends Podcasting Discord, where you can find this show, as well as all the other shows that I host, which are Holocron History, Star Wars Canon vs. Legends, the Final Fantasy Lorecast, the Wizarding World Lorecast, and the Witcher Lorecast. So go check those out. All great stuff on the Robots Radio and my Discord. So much fun stuff. And a lot of meme pictures and stuff like that being posted, which is freaking hysterical.
I've been digging them up
specifically
as
with
much as
the
possible to post them lately.
GQX or GQuix, the GQuix specifically.
I think okay.
I
So
keep seeing TikToks on it now too, and which is hysterical.
so it appears that it may be localized as more like GQX or GQX. So I'll be interested to see, like, almost like in, you know how in the word Q, it's Q followed by a bunch of silent letters.
Yes.
I'm wondering if that's what they're planning. It's gonna be like GQX.
Well, we'll see when it's being shown in theaters here in the U.S. starting February 28th for a limited time for the GQX or GQuix beginning, which is the prologue for the series,
So
which is they typically are roughly an hour long,
yeah.
like special. Typically, they did one for Witcher Mercury, which was pretty cool. And other than that, that's all I have for that stuff. But I did get to do something really cool recently with Gundam. I signed up to do the a closed beta test or closed network test of SD Gundam G Generations Eternal, which is on mobile. Did get to play that for about a week. Holy crap, was that so much fun. I had a bunch of fun playing it. They only had Mobile Suit Gundam and Zeta Gundam as stories that you could go through. There is no PvP whatsoever so far in the game. It's all single player. It's tactics-based games. If you ever played any of the G Generation stuff before, it's all tactics-based. So think Final or Fire Emblem or something like that style of combat, where you develop units, you develop different mobile suits for combat, and which have their own unique abilities and stuff like that. You can get different characters to pilot these suits. You can also get support units, like I pulled a ultra rare Archangel support from Mobile Suit Gundam Seed, which was really cool because this, compared to other G Generation games, this is the first G Generations where it has every single timeline in one game. Compared to previous G Generations, either there's G Generations Genesis, which I believe is all UC. It's only the UC. That's it. And then you have I can't remember the other there's a second one which has only 4 of the alternate timelines, which is Gundam Seed, Gundam 00, Gundam Wing, and Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. But this SD Gundam Generations, which will be mobile, will have every single timeline whatsoever. So it was a lot of fun. I will probably plug it in once it goes live, or because the beta test just ended today as we're recording, and I was not able to play it this morning, which I was kind of sad because it was a lot of fun.
I get that.
I also pulled the G Generations series suit, which was the Phoenix Gundam Full Potential, which is freaking awesome. If you don't know the Phoenix Gundam, look up the Phoenix Gundam. It's really, really cool. It has awesome funnels. But that's all I have for the mid-break. Do you have anything to add, Jesse?
Let's see. Oh, put your ideas. So I'm gonna be building a high grade wing. Speaking of the wing episode, which hasn't got here yet, but it's on swag.
Ooh.
But my plan is to get some paint and actually paint this one into a custom color.
Ooh,
So
okay.
drop your ideas in the Discord, either one of the Discords, or even better, leave a comment with your ideas on what route I should go with it, and we'll see what kind of custom Gundam we can turn it into.
That would be cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it could be a full straight assembly, just different colors, and still be an original.
Yeah.
So, really cool stuff. But let's get back into more of the Wing Gundam. So now we have the history of Wing Gundam, which, oh boy, is there a lot to go over. For everybody here who has not watched Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, stop listening. This is all spoilers. Period.
So many spoilers here.
Period. This is spoiler territory. Stop where this episode. Go watch the series. Come back to this episode once you get done watching it. It's all on Hulu, dubbed. So, and the dub was really good back in the day because it was the old Canadian dub studios, which did a lot of the Zoids dubs. So there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good dub.
This is how they were trying to get us into Gundam here in America, so they did a good job.
Yes. If the dub stands up, they did it good. So far, there's only 2 series that did not do well dubbed. That's only because they were not done either in Canadian or in the US.
Mhm.
But anyway, so we have Operation Meteor. So the Wing Gundam was developed by the L1 Colony Cluster by the engineer Dr. J as a tool of revenge to use against Oz, the organization, for the assassination of the pacifist leader of the colonies, Hiro Yui, whom the Gundam's pilot was codenamed after. Wing was sent to Earth with Hiro to commence Operation Meteor at the same time that each Dr. J's fellow scientists deploy their respective Gundams as well. However, Wing was intercepted during its descent through Earth's atmosphere by the United Earth Sphere Alliance assault carrier commanded by Oz Zex Marquise. Hiro destroyed both of the carriers, Oz 07 AMS Ares with Wing Buster Rifle, but Zex used the Oz 06 MS Leo to grapple with it and weigh down the Gundam. Wing was crashed into the Pacific Ocean near the coast of Japan, and Hiro abandoned it. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he just kind of left it there, too.
Yeah, which is surprising, because you would think, like, really? You're just going to leave your Gundam there? But okay.
Didn't even self-destruct it?
Nope. After leaving Wing at the bottom of the sea, Hiro enrolled as a student at the St. Gabriel Academy to disguise himself. He later stole several torpedoes from the Alliance naval base with the intention of destroying the Gundam before it fell in enemy hands. However, Wing was already been saved from Oz by Duo Maxwell, pilot of the Gundam Death Scythe. Wing was set to self-detonate, but Duo deactivated the device. Duo later encountered Hiro on the land as he raised both their Gundams out of the sea on autopilot. Unaware of Duo's allegiance, Hiro fired the stolen torpedoes at the 2 suits, though they only caused minimal damage. Still, the fact that Hiro knew Gundanium's impact tolerance made Duo realize he was the Wing's pilot. Yeah, he did. Duo is like one of the few of the boy band that has like common sense, by the way.
It's really weird, too, because, like, the way he pilots Depth Scythe, he does not show it, but when they're out of the suits is when he's like, it's like, oh, yeah, he's the one with the brain.
Yeah. Because all the other ones are like robots. Well, except for Casper. Casper is also the same as Duo.
Yeah.
But the three other ones are like essentially robots and like don't know what to do with their lives.
Child soldier robot.
Right? So after Duo helped Hiro escape captivity from an Alliance military hospital, he recovered both of their Gundams from the sea. Hiro repaired Wing by stealing parts from Death Scythe behind Duo's back, and used it on his mission to destroy an enemy air carrier transporting Gundanium alloy. Hiro later used Wing to destroy Oz Northern Pacific Ocean supply base. During the attack, he once again encountered Duo and repaid his debt to him by firing Wing's Buster Rifle at a Leo that was coming up behind Death Scythe. When Oz sent mobile suits to attack the St. Gabriel Academy with the intent of killing Relina Darlian, or Darlene.
It's Darlian, but
Darlian.
You find out her real last name.
Yeah,
she has not long after.
No. Hiro used Wing to counterattack as he believed that Oz had discovered its hideout. Wing took out most of the enemies with his beam saber while impaling the last one with the shield after using it to save Relina from falling debris despite Hiro's belief that she needed to die for the sake of his mission. But dun dun, he couldn't do it. Because he's a guy.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty girl. Dun dun dun.
Especially in the 90s.
There's romance in a Gundam anime. What?
That does not happen often, and when it does, it usually doesn't end well.
No, that's very rare when a romance actually does end well in a Gundam series. The only one is let me see. G Fighter has a good ending.
Hmm.
There's trying to think what there's another one I just watched recently. Oh, Gundam Seed has a good romance ending.
I'm partway into it now.
I
So,
think that's it. I can't remember
yeah,
the
like,
rest. Oh wait,
Iron Blooded Orphans is very sad.
MS Eighth Team,
MS8,
as what
I
we
am
call that as
still,
a somewhat good ending.
it's
I don't.
kind of sappy,
It is
but,
sappy. It's sappy
but,
and cringy at the same time.
yes.
So three Gundam series right there that have
Yeah,
good.
the original series, that one's sad. Iron Blooded Orphans, sad. War in the Pocket, sad.
Zeta sad.
Sad.
Still haven't finished this Double Zeta. I need to finish that one. So, during an assault on the New England base, all 5 of the Gundam pilots were united, thinking they were about to destroy Oz completely. During the battle, Wing destroyed an Oz shuttle with the beam saber before Hero found out it was held the pacifist leaders of the Alliance military. Field Marshal Noventa, Oz's leader, Kreese Kushernada, had tricked the Gundam pilots, and the ramifications were clear that Oz took over the world unopposed. When Hero was alerted to Oz's plan to self-detonate the New Edwards base's missiles in order to eliminate the Gundams, he used the Wing to break into the missile silo and disarm the explosives. Sometime later, Hero and Wing teamed up with Duo in destroying an Oz island base near the school they were transferred to. Or they had transferred to. Yeah, which I just watched recently on that one, actually.
Like, do they actually plan to do that together, or do they just both show up?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember.
It
Because
doesn't.
I know there's
It
one
doesn't
or
say. I think
two
they just like
where they both just show up at the same
they were
place, and
in
they're
the
like, "Oh,
same.
hi."
I think they were in the same. I think they took the same carrier. No, they didn't. They had separate carriers that they left the Edwards base with. So I don't. No. So, Wing Gundam's next major mission was in Siberia. Here, Oz was preparing to launch their new Oz 12 SMS Taurus, and four of the 5 Gundams arrived to prevent their deployment. As soon as the Wing arrived, it was intercepted by Zek's Tallgeese, which had engaged in a beam saber duel. Though they seemed evenly matched, Wing managed to gain the upper hand when it sliced the Tallgeese's left arm off. However, the duel was interrupted when Oz's Lady Un threatened to destroy the space colonies if the Gundam pilots did not surrender. When Dr. J responded and agreed to surrender, Hero activated Wing's self-detonation device while standing outside of the cockpit, destroying his Gundam and nearly killing himself as well. Yeah, no, he's like on the ground, like bleeding out from the back of his head.
Yeah.
Like, and
You think he's gone.
Yeah, you think he's dead if you never watched it. So while Hero spent more than a month recovering under the care of the fellow Gundam pilot Troa Barton, Zex has taken Wing's remains with him and had begun to rebuild it to rematch as it felt both cheated and disgusted by Lady Un's actions in Siberia. However, Oz's parent organization, the Rumfelder Foundation, orders Zex to have the Gundam's remains destroyed. Zex tricked Rumfelder by simply destroying a dummy constructed out of spare parts for the Tallgeese, and had nearly completed Wing taken to a base in Antarctica in order to continue its reconstruction. Yeah. So, the Wing was mostly rebuilt at the Antarctica base. Its highly calibrated inner systems were completely destroyed using a self-detonation, leaving it at a disadvantage. Zex also had the self-detonate system removed to avoid another interrupt duel. However, Wing was left in the base for a rematch, as Hero had chosen to use Teroa's Gundam Heavy Arms to avoid any sense of reluctance between him and Zex. During the battle, Teroa used Wing to prevent Rumfelder's search party from interfering and destroying a pair of Ares that was followed Rolena's transport. When Rumfeller's fleet arrived, Troa converted Wing into bird mode to pick up heavy arms as he and Hero made their escape. Yeah. And then the 5 Gundam pilots returned to space to stop Oz from taking over the colonies. Hero left Wing behind on Earth to avoid enemy detection. Sometime later, Wing was found underwater by Sally Poe, who eventually turned it over to the Lucrexia 9 after the two recovered it while Sally was temporarily imprisoned by Oz. Noin then brought the Gundam to the rebuilt St. Kingdom's underground hangar. Sometime after Hero returned to Earth with Quattro Rambala winner. Oh, yeah, Quattro. He joined a local branch of the Trees faction, engaged in an army of Rumfeller's new Oz 02MD Virgos in a standard Leo, but it was overwhelmed after Quattro arrived to save him in Ares. Noin discovered Wing's Buster Rifle to them, or delivered a Wing's Buster Rifle to them, and Quattro used it to wipe out all the Virgos. They were then brought to the Second Kingdom, and Hero was once again reunited with his Gundam. He would soon after use Wing to lead in a counterattack against the Rumfeller forces attempting to invade Rolena's pacifist nation. After much convincing from Noin, Quattro, and Rolena, Hero agreed to stay in the Second Kingdom with his Gundam to defend the nation from further threats. Because he's a dude.
Because he wanted to fight everything, and
Yep.
it took literally 3 people to tell him, no, only fight them if they come here.
Right. Yep. When Rumfeller sent another army of Virgos to crush the Tritz faction in their base in Luxembourg, Hero used Wing Gundam to help defend the Tritz faction in order to prevent Rumfeller from spreading their forces any further. Though Wing was more than a match for the Virgos than the Trees faction Leos and Ares, the Gundam's right leg was damaged during the battle. As more Virgos began surrounding it, Trees spoke up to Hero through the Gundam's intercom and encouraged him not to give up. Hero managed to get Wing back on its feet, but it was eventually blasted into a building and disabled completely. After the remaining Virgos were destroyed in a suicide attack by the 3 Trez soldiers, Hero exited Wing's cockpit and abandoned his Gundam for the final time. Soon after, he was given the Oz 13MS Gundam Epion by Trez, though Hero would later replace Epion with the Wing Gundam Zero. Epion's pretty cool, though.
Epion is pretty sick.
It's a
Wing
dragon.
Zero is just
It's a
cool
dragon.
because it has the Zero system.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Gundam Zero is Wing Gundam Zero has the Zero system, which is it's a power up.
And
So
mental
after
drain.
so what?
And a mental drain.
And a mental drain, literally, too. After the Battle of Luxembourg base, the abandoned Wing Gundam was captured by Oz and taken to the base of the grounds of the military hospital for repairs. While there, it was fitted with booster rockets for traveling into space. The one engineer asked why the Gundam needed the modifications for space flight, since seamlessly nobody remaining on Earth was capable of piloting it. When Trez attempted to Vane to challenge Zex to a one-on-one duel in space, decide the fate of the war between Earth and the colonies, Lady Un suddenly awoke from the coma on Earth, commandeered the idled Wing, and launched into space at full speed. Rapidly switching Wing out of bird mode, Lady Ung arrived in time to push Trez's Tallgeese 2 out of the firing path of the battleship Libra's devastating main cannon. Taking the full force of the blast, Wing was almost completely disintegrated, with only its head and torso remaining intact. Lady Un then emerged from the cockpit in a spacesuit and jumped onto the Tallgeese 2's hand, abandoning Wing's remains in space. The Gundam was never seen again after this. Yep. Yeah. That was it for the Gundam Wing. And then, going forward, the series is Wing Zero specifically. So, yeah. Fun stuff on that.
So much fun.
So much fun.
Such a
And
good
if you want to
series.
know more of Gundam Wing, just go watch the series if you stayed and listened to that part.
It's
and haven't
honestly
seen
not that long.
It's not. It's like 50 episodes?
It's something like that.
Yeah, most Gundam series are typically between 25 to 50 episodes, roughly.
Yeah.
The Mobile Suit Gundam series typically aren't long. So,
It's not bad at all.
yeah. Last but not least, we do have some notes and trivia. So, the initial design of Wing Gundam followed the nationality trend from Mobile Fighter G Gundam. Wing's design is Japanese, and according to designer Kuno Okawara, is heavily based on the God/Burning Gundam. It should be noted that the Gundam wings were missing from the initial design, and it wasn't until the second draft of the wings, as well as the transformation ability, were added.
It'd be so weird without them.
Right? Calling it Wing Gundam with no wings. What? Yeah, it would be weird. So, despite being the title mobile suit of Gundam Wing, Wing saw little action compared to its fellow Gundams, especially after it was rebuilt during self-destruction in Episode 10 and was abandoned by its pilot multiple times. Because Hero's a jerk and doesn't respect his Gundam.
He doesn't, and the other ones show up way more often.
Yeah. Wing was the only Gundam of the original five of Gundam Wing to never receive an upgrade during the series that was instead replaced by its prototype, the Wing Zero. Because all the other ones were upgraded.
Yeah, and then Wing Zero doesn't get upgraded at all. Wing Zero gets upgraded. Wing itself does not.
Correct. Yep. The only character from the series to actually refer to Wing Gundam by its name was Trez in episode 46. To most others, it was referred to either 01 or Gundam 01, the name it was given by Oz, while Hero himself never actually referred it to as My Mobile Suit or My Gundam, though he does refer to Wing by its name in the series' original manga adaptation. They never say Wing Gundam until episode 46 out of 50.
Ridiculous.
Like, what? Oh, gosh. And then story differences for Gundam Wing and the original manga adaptation of Gundam Wing include, after crashing into the Pacific Ocean, Hero recovers Wing immediately after his first encounter with Relena thanks to Duo's timely intervention. Wing's self-destruction occurs at the New Edwards base instead of Siberia, and Hero uses the rebuilt Wing instead of heavy arms for his duel with Zex in Antarctica. At the Saint Kingdom, Hero uses Wing to save Relena from a group of Virgos rather than crashing the Oz plane. Quattro briefly pilots Wing to stop Hero when he loses control of himself while piloting Epion for the first time. And then Hero abandons Wing during the final battle at the Saint Kingdom rather than at Luxembourg. He simply leaves it behind in the hangar and soon after swaps Epion for Wing Zero with Zex. Yep. Those are the differences. But, yeah, that's it. That's Gundam Wing for you. Or Wing Gundam, or whatever you want to say. Oh, it's such a good show. Currently rewatching it. It's on Hulu, like I said, dubbed, subbed, all that stuff. It's subbed on Crunchyroll. You can find all the majority of the Gundam series on Crunchyroll subbed. But you can find the dubbed version on Hulu, which is currently what I'm watching because I love the dub. The dubs, I generally watch Gundam dubbed because 90% of the dubs are really good, and I prefer to listen to the dubs in Gundam rather than reading subtitles all the time.
Yep.
So that's just a me thing.
Fair.
But unless it's only subbed, I will only watch it subbed. Like Double Zeta, it doesn't even have a dub. Apparently, it did originally, but it's lost media, so you can never find it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So, any final thoughts on the Wings Gundam?
No, not really. I mean, it is one of the cooler titular mobile suits, in my opinion.
Yep. One of the most notable ones. Play GB4. It's in GB4. It's one of the first mobile suits you can unlock.
Yes.
Wait for Gundam G Generations Eternal because you'll be able to use it in that game, which is I'm super pumped for that. And G Generations, if a mobile suit can transform, it can transform in the game. Like you can, it can go into bird mode with Gundam Wing.
fantastic.
And being in bird mode compared to mobile suit mode, bird mode can go longer distances than when it's in like mobile suit mode. So there's, strategy based stuff.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
fun stuff. But that's all I have. And you said you don't have anything else?
Yep, that's all I got.
Cool. Well, everybody, again, thank you again for listening to the Gundam Lorecast. And pilots, stay safe out there. Thank you for listening to the Gundam Lorecast. You can find us on the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, the Ben and Friends podcasting Discord, where you can share how you got into the Gundam series, and you can even find us on Twitter at Gundam Lorecast, and even email us at gundamlorecast@outlook.com.